Good day, my name is Sky, and I appreciate you spending some study time with me. I'm here to help you make money in online poker by teaching you key strategies and getting you to take action. Today's podcast is going to be super useful because it's going to help you deal with a spot that so many of us lose a ton of chips: calling on the river. I've got two questions for you that'll help you dissect the situation, figure out what your opponent is potentially betting, and help you determine whether or not to make that river call. Let's get into it. Gambate!
Propro ut mortem occurras. What is he saying?
Hurry to meet death before your place is taken.
So I'm going to help you make winning river calls. When you get to the river and you face that bet or the raise, if you can think back through the hand and logically say to yourself, hey, he's betting lots of hands that I beat, then you have a perfect opportunity to make a call. Possibly a raise, but at a minimum, you can make a call because you can name a ton of hands that he can be betting or raising. Now, the question that's going to help you with this is, what are they betting that I beat? In order to answer this question properly on the river, and we have two hand examples for you here, you need to think about your opponent's player type. Are they a fishy player who never bets the river, or are they a super loose aggressive player who bets barrels, triple barrels all the time? Key factor number two, range and board interaction. How they enter the hand pre-flop, that indicates what kind of range they have, and you see how that range works with the flop, the turn, and the river, helps you make a read on their hand strength. Also, prior street actions. Did they call pre-flop, call flop, call turn, and then donk bet? Also, relative position matters. If somebody is out of position against you and they decide to bet big, that means something different than if they're in position after you check the river. They're betting big, but they could have checked behind. And now, lastly, we have to consider their bet size, the stack size, and the pot size. All of these 5 points that are on the screen right now, they help you make a good read on what your opponent is betting or raising with. And it's going to help you answer that question. What are they betting that I beat? Let's take a look at this hand. We have ace-10 offsuit, 4 players dealt into the hand. We're in the cutoff. We raise to 3 big blinds, a couple of folds, and then the big blind decides to call. Now remember, you want to think about their player type. He's a 35/30 player who has 3-bet in the past 2 out of 9 times. Very loose aggressive player. He probably doesn't have the strongest hands in his pre-flop range right now. Lots of broadways though, lots of aces, lots of pocket pairs, suited connectors as well. So the flop comes down ace-3 deuce. We have ace-10 offsuit. Top pair, decent kicker right now. The loose aggressive player checks to us, and we come out for the 4 big blind bet into the 6.4 big blind pot. Roughly 2/3 pot. We're going for value right here. Oh, drat, he check raised us right now. Now, before we make the call, let's think about what hands could be check raising. Sure, it could be pocket 3s or pocket deuces for a flop set, but he also has ace-9, ace-8, weaker aces than our ace-10 on this board. He also has like pocket 8s, 9s, 7s. He might even have, there's a club, a diamond, and a heart on the board. He could have a suited connector with a backdoor draw, 7-6 of hearts, 8-9 of diamonds. So because he does have hands that beat us, but plenty of hands that are weaker than us, we also have position, we decide to call right here. The pot on the turn is 22.4 big blinds, ace-3 deuce, deuce on the turn with 2 diamonds out there. And what does he do? He checks to us. This is probably weakness. We have the ace-10. But because he check-raised the prior street, just in case, let's keep the pot small. We could be out-kicked even. Ace-jack has us beat right now. We check behind right here. Totally fine with this check. We're still in position on that river. The river comes of 5, making the board ace-3, deuce-deuce 5, 3 diamonds on the board, paired board, 4 to the straight with the ace-3, deuce 5 as well, right? So many hands that could be beating us right now. Not the best river card for us, but look what happens. He comes out firing 1/3 pot, 7 into 22.4. So we have to ask ourselves the question, what are they betting that I beat? Now, obviously, we have the ace-10. He could be betting ace-9, ace-8, ace-7. We're ahead of those right there. He could be betting pocket 9s or pocket 8s. So he's betting 1/3 pot instead of check calling half pot or bigger. Might even be just a busted draw, the 7-6 of clubs. He hates the fact that he didn't get anything on the turn nor the river, but we checked back on the turn showing weakness. This could be just a bluff. We have been able to name so many hands that are weaker than ours that are making this bet, so I think we have to make the call. And he ends up showing Jack 5 of hearts. So he had the gut shot plus a backdoor flush draw on the flop. And on the river, he hit a second pair of 5s. So that 7 big blind was a blocking bet. And then we accurately put him on a hand like that. Easy river call. There is one specific poker skill that's really going to help you make perfect river calls from this point forward. And that is hand reading. And you can learn hand reading with my online poker hand reading workbook by going to smartpokerstudy.com/hand reading workbook. And I want to thank all these super cool poker peeps for picking it up recently. Gerald Crone, Loke Mainen, Todd Eastwood, Peg Speaks, Susan Braniff, Morris Alfie, Maita Mota, Ming Chu, Werner Tashner, Alex Fung, Luke Frankson, Alexander Tapieri, Tony Martinez, Justin Adia, David Ricard, Patrick Costera, Elmar Salimzadeh, Fabrizio Palladino, Andrew Finlay, Eric Twitty, Sander Illis, Kay Zhao, Jeffrey Infanti, James Davis, Brenda Tyndall, George Senges, Amir Uzmanov. Yes, we are not done yet. A few more. Richard Bruce, Michael Vernier, Eva Sykarova, Mike France, James Crossan, Ewan Phillips, and Fred Woolley. These perfect poker peeps went to smartpokerstudy.com/hand reading workbook, and they're now building their hand reading skills, making better river calls, not just on the river, of course, flops and turns, better calls, better c-bets, better check raises, better donk bets, better probes, better floats. Hand reading is the skill that will put you over the top. Go to smartpokerstudy.com/hand reading workbook to pick it up. Back to the river. Now, a second question that's going to help you make winning river calls that you can ask yourself is he betting the best hand that I beat? Let's demonstrate this question. We have ace queen suited in the small blind. Fold. Cutoff open raises. He's a 27/9 player, raising first and so far just 18% of the time, but he is in the cutoff. There's a fold on the button, and we decide to 3-bet small to just 5 big blinds with the ace queen suited. The reason I did this is because he folds the c-bets 100% of the time right here. Just in case we miss the flop, let's go ahead. We're the pre-flop raiser. We can c-bet the flop and quite often take it down versus flop on as players. The big blind player folds, and the cutoff open raiser decides to call. So we're out of position with ace queen suited in an 11 big blind pot, and the flop comes down queen 7-6. We got top pair, top kicker. I think it's go for value time. Even though I said he folds on the flop a lot, there are a ton of hands that are weaker than ours that are calling right now. Queen 7-6. We value bet 5.3 into 11. He could call with king, queen, queen, jack, queen 10, queen 9 even. Maybe even ace 7, ace 6, 8-9 for an open ender on the queen 7-6, 9-10 for a gut shot, and 2 undercards that could hit second pair. Lots of stuff that he could potentially call for just half pot. So we make the bet, and he calls us. The pot on the turn, 21.6 big blinds, and a 9 of hearts hits, making the board queen 7-6-9 with 2 hearts. We have 2 spades, and those don't really play a part in this right here. 21.6 big blinds, we bet half pot again to 10.3, and he ends up calling us. Now, what does this say about his hand? He does have king, queen, queen, jack, queen 10. Queen 10 has actually a gut shot right now, top pair plus a gut shot. Lots of weaker hands making this call. But that river comes in 8, making the final board queen 7-6-9-8. We still have the ace queen, top pair, top kicker, but that pot's already 42 big blinds. We decide to check. Hopefully he just checks behind. We can see that cheap showdown, but he doesn't do it. He bets 23 into 42. Now we have to ask ourselves, is he betting the best hand I beat? Looking at this board, queen jack and king queen. There's only 2 hands that I beat with my ace queen. If he had queen 10 or queen 8, queen 9, queen 7, queen 6, he has 2 pair on this river, or even a straight with the queen 10. Maybe even 9-8, 7-8 hit 2 pair right here. There are so many hands making this bet that beat me, and only 2 hands that I beat. I think this is a fold, and we decide to do just that. He takes this pot down, but because this is ignition, I can download the whole card revealed hands 24 hours later. He had pocket 8s. Makes absolute sense the way he played it. This large bet, he probably put us on just a queen for barreling and then checking this river. He was trying to squeak some value out of us. But we read the situation correctly. We folded and we saved some money. Now it's time for you to take action. Play with purpose. Use a sticky note. Like I have a sticky note right here. What are they betting that I beat? Is he betting the best hand that I beat? Right there attached to my monitor so it's quick and easy reference while I'm playing. And then use the questions when you're involved or even when you're not. With every river that you see, ask and answer those 2 questions. And even if you're not involved, just imagine you had a top pair hand, maybe a second pair hand. Is he betting the best hand I beat? What are they betting that I beat? Thank you so much for listening today. Go to the show notes page, smartpokerstudy.com/pod512 to help you take notes with everything you learn. Also on that page, there's a prior podcast I did all about the psychology behind your good and potentially bad river calls. Why do you make them? Why shouldn't you make some of them? And I give you some great play with purpose and study with purpose action steps in there to improve your river calling game. Once again, that's smartpokerstudy.com/pod512. Until next time, take action both on and off the felt to become the player that you want to be.